Assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed ji, ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Bakher Agale, Ni Hao, Tuna Shumme, Washmale, Ohio, Godzaimes, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Hale Shumachatore, Ahlan Wasalan, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Suavi, Abballi Kiraya, and thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, amazing, superb, the very phenomenal, the very humane Miss Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. And we hope and pray that everybody out there in 46 different countries, in fact, all over the world, is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us, only if it's daytime. If it's nighttime, please make sure that you watch the entire show and then go to bed. But hello, Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. How are you doing? I actually have a lot of questions for you.
Go ahead.
But let's begin with how you're doing.
Well, I think I'm doing perfectly fine. You know, I wasn't really doing very well, before 10 p.m. last night, but I think after 10 p.m., rest assured, I felt as if, okay, things like these happen in life and, you just have to live with them. That's it.
Right, so do you want to share what happened?
Yes, exactly. Why not? So, ladies and gentlemen, just a few days ago, I changed the password of my phone because I thought that the old one was very old. And I was like, anybody can get in because, you do your online transactions on it, your emails on it, your work contracts are on it as well. So I was like, hey, you know what? We should do it. And then I never got a chance to kind of put it into my cell phone as well over and over again. So which is why I forgot it. And just yesterday while I was at work, I realized that I still do not remember my password. And so I had to reset my phone and I couldn't get the backup back on. And it was because of the fact that I didn't knew the password, right?
Oh.
So for a while, I felt as if I didn't have anything to do in life. And that was the worst feeling ever. And that actually made me even realize that, hey, you know what? What difference does it make if you're not on Facebook for one day or probably on Twitter? Well, Twitter does make a difference. You really want to be kind of acquainted with
date, right?
all the latest trends and whatnot. But one way or the other, I was able to kind of revive my, which one is it? Yeah, Instagram account, Snapchat account, and WhatsApp as well, which is why hence we are here all prepared as well. What about you, Shiza? How are you doing today? It's sunny outside, by the way. Did you enjoy your weather last night?
Well, of course I did. I took it all in. It was just so stunning, but so super cold as well. I was hoping, fingers crossed, it's going to rain today as well. But coming back to where you said...
I think we've had enough rain for the
No,
last
it's
2
never
days.
enough for me, to be
Really?
honest.
Okay.
But yeah, coming back to where you said it's so different when you just don't have your cell phone with you for a day. Well, of course, I mean, it's a new era, sort of. I cannot imagine a life without a cell phone or any gadget for that matter. We are so connected, Shazad. It's, how they say everything is so global, it's so true. Can you imagine not being able to, and especially with the kind of jobs that we have, can you imagine not being able to contact and share what we're going to talk about the next day? Or the news, imagine not having to look at the news. So, of course, I'm pretty sure you had a very confusing day yesterday, and we hope and pray that now you have had your access back.
Well, I'm still trying. My cell phone is still with somebody over here in the office who claims that he can actually get me my email back as well. And it's important. So, either way, we're going to get it back as well. But ladies and gentlemen, the moment I realized that, hey, you know what? Not everything kind of revolves around your cell phone
Right.
was the time when I kind of got settled and relaxed as well.
But
yeah.
yes, a lot of people make good use of cell phones or technology for that matter. And when you were speaking about Twitter, something so heartwarming happened 2 days back, and I think we really have to share it with the world out there. For all of those who haven't seen it already, a lot of you might have. We have a screenshot of it. Let's share it on your screens, and then we're going to talk about it.
Right.
So you know how we say friendship and love knows no borders, right?
True.
So this particular case is actually a testament of that. There are no borders to friendship or love for that matter. Imagine someone living in India wanted their friend in Islamabad, Pakistan, to have pizza.
Yeah.
And then they tweeted to Pizza Hut Pakistan. And it's so cute. Pizza Hut was like, you know what, we might as well do it if we get 3,000 likes. And within no time, they got more than 3,000 likes and retweets, and they delivered it free of charge, and they were so happy to be a part of it.
Well, that's wonderful.
Can you read it? Because I can't.
I think so. The Indian girl ordered pizza for her friend in Islamabad. Twitter praises Pizza Hut for this unique delivery. So this brave girl from India told us in the morning today that she wants us to give free pizza to a friend in Islamabad. We told her that we'll do it if she gets 3K likes by Sunday night. She did it by Saturday evening. So wow, congratulations to that girl as well, and congratulations to the one
Such
who got
a cute
free pizza.
idea.
But yeah, one more point, and that is Pizza Hut, you shouldn't have really asked her for 3,000 likes. Why would you do that? I mean, if somebody did call you and out of courtesy, rather than asking for a social media promotion, what you should have done is just delivered the pizza right away. I mean, why not? No?
That was my first thought as well, but in all honesty, I sort of equated that in my head. And I think it's fun. Maybe they wanted both of the nations to engage. Maybe they wanted it to become something, and
Become closer.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
And the
So it's
weather's
very
so
sweet.
cool as well.
Yeah, we're really happy about it, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Now, but coming back to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where, how me and Shiza, we have always been in discussion saying that, we really need to kind of go back to, a place where we can learn all the online businesses and Google ads
True,
and, how
man.
to be on Amazon and everything. And one way or the other, I think we just get caught with work as well. I mean, amidst pandemic, we could have done that. But unfortunately, we never got the opportunity because we were always very occupied with our work as well. So today, what we have done is that we actually have somebody, ladies and gentlemen, who rather than talking about Amazon, can even talk about anything and everything all over this planet. And it's because of the fact that this legendary gentleman who's over here in the studios with us has been a wonderful student all his life. Where he in Pakistan, he did his civil engineering, then went to LUMS, then did his masters from abroad as well, and then ended up with PepsiCo, Walmart, Amazon.
A small anecdote, he began with a cadet college.
Yeah,
Over
Cadet
here.
College. Cadet College is nice as well. And he still looks very young as well. And today, he has actually joined us to make sure that we kind of tap more on the e-commerce opportunities over here within Pakistan and how to kind of go about it. We will ask him a few personal questions, from his life, that how, while he was studying in Pakistan, he had such lucrative career that to
Right.
abroad as well, what helped him. Those tips are going to come in, but later in this segment as well. But first things first, how do we work on Amazon? Because me and Shiza over here have absolutely no knowledge about it. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be the Senior Vice President at Albertsons as well. He is Mr. Umar Gajal. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much for joining us. And it's wonderful to actually host the Senior Vice President of a company which generates $70 billion in revenue. And it just, kind of feels great to have another Pakistani to be at such a good position. How do you feel about it yourself?
I look back and I think majority of my career I've problem solved. So to me, it's another opportunity to solve a customer problem.
Wow.
And that's how we go along. The numbers follow if you solve the right problem.
True.
So the way I look at it is, I learned, you mentioned earlier about learning in Pakistan. So whether it was Cadet College Hassan Abdal or Military College of Engineering Risalpur or LUMS, everywhere I think I got the benefit of learning from teachers who knew how to solve a good problem.
True.
Both, I would say, intelligently or also emotionally. So I think if you put the two pieces together, you can very well at least give a fair shot to any problem.
True, and I think it's wonderful. Thank you very much for saying that as well. But there's one more thing, and that is that I think that you've had that childhood where your parents pushed you to do engineering yourself, and then you eventually ended up doing business, and you went to LUMS, and I think it was Colorado University, because I was going through your profile as well. So why this sudden shift from and for somebody who's actually earned an engineering degree? Why would you choose to rather be a person who solves problems? Even though engineers do that too.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I come from a family where my father was in the army for 33 years. I come from a family who has 17 doctors, so I think the first normal conclusion was join the army and be a doctor. So that would be a really good combo. No, I also had a family member who was an accomplished engineer, so I liked the idea of building.
Okay.
To me, engineering equates development or creation. So
It is
that was intriguing. I did my civil engineering from here. Then I thought that I wanted to add some management layer on top. So I went to LUMS and I enjoyed my time thoroughly over there. And the professors and my class fellows were absolutely inspiring. I think when I went to Cornell University in US.
Yeah, Cornell.
So I think the shift is all subjects. Is like a bouquet of flower right over here. You take each strand, and each strand gives you a different dimension and a learning. So what Hassan Dal taught me was lots of kids from different backgrounds will come together. You board for 5 years, and you get to know each other.
True.
It teaches you how to also do conflict resolution without conflict.
True.
Absolutely.
Risalpur was all about process, organized thinking, and the military training was really that. LUMS was all about big idea thinking, working really hard, creating the diligence. So I think everywhere you go, you pick up a strand of your learning and you make your own set of experiences and you call them who you are. So I think that's the way I look at it. There was no right or left turn. It was just a set of experiences that came.
And everything kind of contributed.
Yeah.
And you know, it's also the approach that you take towards life decisions or life steps as well. I think you're being very humble over here, but a lot of modest over here. But a lot of people would have sort of been scattered all over the place with so many opportunities. So you did definitely take the right direction. But now with so much experience up your sleeve and just the accurate kind of expertise as well, I want you to highlight for the layman out there, and layman including Shahzad Khan and myself as well, what do you think are some of the latest e-commerce opportunities that Pakistanis should be looking at to be at par with the world?
So, Shahzad, if I step back, I think philosophically, I'll give a philosophical answer and then I'll give a tactical answer. Philosophically, the world is becoming more efficient.
Okay.
Right? What it really means is the manufacturer will get closer to the customer.
Yes.
So if you look at the fastest growing brands in Pakistan is where the brand is talking to the customer directly. And I think we all know about the large attire brands in Pakistan. They become big because they understand the customer talks to them. So I think so the global supply chain will shrink.
Okay.
Physically, but conceptually also. Where the party who's manufacturing will end up talking to the customer and they both will transact.
Okay.
In the old world, we always had multiple middlemen in the middle. There was a distributor, then there's a retailer, and then there's a purveyor, and that world will shrink. Now, as the world is shrinking, so now specifically to answer your question, I think what is going to happen is for people in Pakistan, majority of the industry is either retailer or they're manufacturer, but they're manufacturing for somebody else. So if you really think about it, the largest industrial groups in Pakistan are contract manufacturers for somebody else.
That's true.
We even if it's a T-shirt or a pair of jeans or a surgical instrument, we don't have a brand outside.
We make sports socks ourselves, and we make it for other brands.
We made for other brands. The chasm or the jump will happen the moment Pakistani manufacturers they start understanding the needs of the customer and start reverse engineering and say, how do I need to design this T-shirt or this surgical instrument or this soccer ball or this pair of socks? That e-commerce is an accelerant in that journey where we have to serve our customers.
And I truly agree
to it. Do we
to
understand that? Pakistanis, are they understanding that?
I think there are glimmers of brilliance here and there, but I think as an industry, I think people, we are slightly behind. Because if you really think about it, look at comparable countries in and around us.
Right.
How many internationally reputed brands that connect with customers exist?
And that's what I wanted to talk about as well. And I think that's what our missing link is as well, because I did my majors in bachelor's and marketing, and it was for masters as well. But what I realized is that obviously, just like you said, that there are glitters here and there as well, but not a lot of people have come up with a brand which would certainly hold the value within people's mind as well. And this is something which we really need to work on. So we're good at manufacturing, hum mazdoori mein achhe, but we're not good at making ourselves a brand or a brand to ourselves as well. And this is something which I think that we've miserably failed at. And what do you think are the causes behind it? I mean, we might have a lot of women wear brands, women clothing brands as well. We might have some jewelry brands, but all of these brands have, particularly in Pakistan, worked on women, to be very precise as well. So do you think that we are really not good at making brands and that value to kind of position within the customer's mindset?
I'll give it a two-part answer. One answer would be about, let's call the entrepreneurs or people who manufacture, and I'll leave one suggestion for the government to consider. So suggestion for people who are listening, who are entrepreneurs, who are manufacturers, who can do something, or who are traders. I think a simple word is curiosity. If somebody is curious to learn the needs of another customer or a B2B customer or B2C customer, you are curious and you ask questions. If you ask questions, you learn something. If you are learning something, it means the very hypothesis where you're starting from has to be null. So you have to question the very beginning of your thought process to say, I'm asking a question, it may go wrong.
Right.
So that's the basic curiosity. And I think that comes from music and art and stuff. So I think we need to be more curious as a nation. I think on the other side, I think e-commerce is all about small transactions, not large transactions. We are a country where the industry is built on large containers. We ship containers and we feel happy. The world is moving towards shipping people 1s and 2s and 3s and 10s.
And conveniently.
And conveniently.
Right.
So that is a significant shift. And I think that shift has to the payment systems, the logistics systems, the supply chain, all has to evolve to cater for that new world, which is not containers.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I absolutely love how well articulated and on point you are. But just a small example of how I'm really proud of the Pakistanis that are actually themselves learning to actually excel and, of course, make a noise in the world as well. So there's this guy, he's an artist, and he has created art for Marvel, a lot of Sony, video games, but a lot of it, the list goes on. And now he's so up to date with everything going on that he's selling his art, his characters as NFTs, and he's all over the place, right? And the other day, yeah, I told you about him. The other day, he actually gave a small masterclass to all his Instagram followers, telling them what NFTs are, how to go about it, and how anyone can be an owner. So that was something that really struck me. I was like, you know what, this is something everyone needs to do. Beginning with that, I feel like we need to, well, definitely jump on that. How do you think we can do in terms of NFTs? And then Shahzad was talking about Amazon. We are really, really excited about it. Pakistanis are going to get seller accounts, right?
Yeah.
How is that going to work out for us? Is it a good thing, first of all?
So the Amazon marketplace, so Amazon has three large businesses. It has a cloud computing business, it has a retail business, and a device business. The consumer business, which is .com or the e-commerce business, about 65% of all units shipped are through third-party sellers. Or the Amazon does not take ownership of that inventory. It's not a 1P business, it's a 3P business, third-party business. So third-party business is 2/3 of the total Amazon units shipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Amazon ships a lot of units.
Of course.
So Pakistan, up till about a year ago, Pakistani manufacturers were not enabled to register their local accounts, meaning a Pak Rupee account, a local identity to say I'm registered in Sialkot or in Muridke or in Karachi site area, to set up their office, to set up their account, get the payments shipped over, and the ability to ship items from here all over the world.
Right.
So that's exactly what you're saying is those seller accounts. So that was something that my team and I worked for a couple of years in partnership with the LA Council to enable that capability. It was a lot of hard work between logistics, supply chain, technology, payment solutions, and we enabled that. Now, to the specific question that you're asking is, I think it's Pakistani manufacturers and entrepreneurs having the option to participate in a global economy.
True.
It's always a good news.
It's always good news. So you can have female entrepreneurs, you can have large companies, you can have startups, all having access to a customer in Minnesota or in Arkansas or in Cologne, Germany or in Osaka, Japan. The having that access is the big idea over here, and I think it can garner a lot of opportunities and creativity.
And Alhamdulillah, I think that we have this opportunity now as well, right?
Yes, we enabled it about a year ago.
So we do. So very quickly, before we wrap up this segment, I think that the most important aspect would be that, now, I think for anybody who's a manufacturer, they certainly over here in Pakistan do not believe in, selling 1 unit or 2 units. As you said that, it needs to be a 20-foot ka container or 40-foot ka container, 40 feet or 20 feet. But how do you think that they will have this, they will get rid of this insecurity that, by just, because anytime they are going to, or even if we have a middleman who's created his or her own brand, what they'll do is that they'll get 500 pieces made or 1,000 pieces made, and delivering one piece will eventually come down to economies of scale. That's what they'll have to do, that they'll have to sell more in different regions to make sure that they kind of earn profit. How long will it take them, and how do you think that they can make their investment secure? I think that's the giveaway for people today.
It's a good question.
A very good question. There's traditional retail, that's the container business, and then there is the new trade, which is e-commerce. If you look at the relative growth, one is static to low single-digit growth, the other is double-digit growth.
True.
Okay.
So over a period of time, the container business is going to slow down, and it will come down to pricing.
True.
People will end up fighting for economic value creation to sell another container. So it's a race to the bottom on pricing.
Exactly.
So the world has already moved. And plus, I think we see in our own examples, I've been here for a couple of weeks now, people are ordering food online and between food and deliveries. So I think the world has already moved. I think everybody knows that very quickly. It will be a combination. It will. I'm not saying the container business will disappear. The question is, do you want to participate in the new economy?
True.
So that will persist over some time, but then the new world will come life as well.
Wow, that's wonderful. So thank you very much for setting our path straight as well, Mr. Umar, and it was wonderful to be in conversation with you. Just one last thing before wrapping it up. I don't know how you might feel about this question, but all right, since we are a morning show, I think anybody and everybody can ask this question. That is that, while you were obviously studying, you've done civil engineering, you went to LUMS, then you went abroad as well. I don't know whether you were married by then or were you?
Yes, it's been, I was.
You were, all right. So, gradually what happens is that people start to kind of ask you, your family members even ask you as well, "Acha Umar beta kuch bata do agar hai to." What was your choice while you were looking for a life partner who's going to support you in all of this amazing career you've made to yourself? Alhamdulillah.
That's an interesting question.
Very interesting.
I think somebody who can be a friend, somebody you can talk to, and you can have, you can stay curious to learn more.
Yeah.
So my wife, she's a doctor. She's a neurologist and a headache specialist. We have we have 4 beautiful kids. 2 of my girls, and we have 2 girls, 2 boys. And one of my daughters is an artist. She's a digital artist, and she does produce NFTs. And the other one is doing data science and economics and math. Wow. So I think we share the same values. We look at life in terms of what's next. We are both adventurous in a way. We would like to set up. Garner new experiences and problem solve together. So that's how we found a partner.
That's wonderful. So thank you very much for being with us, and thank you very much for sharing all of these amazing pieces of advices for all of us as well. So for all of those people who are out there, it's your choice whether you just want to stick to Pakistan's economy or global economy. The question is for you to answer. With that, we're actually heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be
right back, of course, and we'll continue the discussions of how overseas Pakistanis are still contributing towards the economy. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning.
Jinnah was born on December 25, 1876 at the Wazir Mansion in Karachi. His birth name was Muhammad Ali Jinnah Bai. His father's name was Jinnah Bai Punja and mother's name was Miti Bai. Jinnah Hospital, Kabul. The foundation of Jinnah Hospital, Kabul was laid in October 2007. It is a part of series of aid and development projects under the Technical Assistance Program for Afghanistan. Islam stands for justice, equality, fair play, tolerance, and even generosity to the non-Muslims who may be under our protection. They are like brothers to us and would be the citizens of the state.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you're watching World this morning alongside Shazad Hashmi and Shazad Khan. We hope and pray that everybody who's just tuned in, that you guys are doing wonderfully well. Because previously we did talk about everybody who was tuned in as well. The weather's great. It's a sunny day over here in Islamabad. And yes, it was raining in Karachi, Balochistan, Islamabad, and elsewhere in the Balajat Ilaka as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think on this sunny day, we're very lucky that earlier we were actually joined by a person who actually has achieved quite a lot. And, you know, they were here to share their experiences, whether how we can convert our careers into such lucrative and amazing careers as well. Other than that, obviously we know that the expat community, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of foreign remittances, contribute quite a lot towards the economy of the country. So it obviously is our fariza, you know, it's our first, it's a moral obligation for us to make sure that we ask them every now and then whether are there still any challenges you still face while you come down to the country or while you're living abroad.
Yeah, definitely we need to do that. So without any further ado, let's be doing that. Because Shazad, while of course there must be some challenges for anyone who is staying away from their own motherland, we need to discuss that. But there's a lot of good news coming up for them.
Staying away from motherland.
It does happen when you go to Pardes. Let's ask them actually how they feel about it.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by the members of Overseas Pakistani Global Foundation. And we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Sheikh Shakil Saab. He was over here I think 6 or 7 months ago as well. He couldn't stay back in USA for a longer period of time. He loves his country too much. He's back once again. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Saab. How are you?
Good. Assalamu alaikum. Assalam. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. It's wonderful to have you alongside Sheikh Saab. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by the chairman, OPGF USA. He happens to be Mr. Akhtar Zahir Saab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Absolutely perfect, sir.
Thanks for having us.
For joining us. Wonderful to have you. And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, we were lucky that we have been joined by somebody who happens to be an attorney at law, senior legal advisor at OPGF. He is Mr. Shiraz Khan. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And it's always wonderful, you know, whenever we see an attorney at law, that too from abroad, he's always smiling. That's great. But Sheikh Sahab, I have a personal question from you. I don't know what you might answer. But every now and then, whenever I see an expat coming to Pakistan, I will always see 2 or more cell phones in their hand. What's the problem? Why do you guys carry 2 cell phones? One for USA and one for Pakistan?
Thank you for asking me this question.
Okay,
I
why?
love this question. Okay. The reason is this. Used to be you could bring 2 telephones.
Okay.
When Zulfi Bukhari Saab was representing overseas, and they allowed 2 telephones for 1 year. Husband and wife, you can bring at least 2 phones a year. After that, they stopped these services. Now, 1 phone is used for 60 days, and after your phone is shut down, unless you pay the duty. If you don't want to pay the custom, and then you have to use another phone, because after 60 days, that phone is no longer working.
Yeah.
And while you're living in Pakistan, and you have to use your WhatsApp, and you need Pakistan local SIM, so it's only a 1 phone, and then you have a 2 phone.
Yeah.
So the phone should be open as long I'm not reselling that phone.
True.
And I'm using that phone. Let's say you go to abroad, any other country, and your phone is stopped. You know, American, Canadian, European, they might can afford 2 phones.
Yeah.
But people come from Gulf, I think it's very hard for them.
Exactly. And so thank you very much for saying that. But, you know, there's one more thing which just popped up in my mind, and that was that, you know, for all of those cousins and Pupiyan and Chachu who've been calling you to send in a cell phone from USA, you should have asked one from them. You were like, yaar, itne sare phone bheje, ek mujhe bhi de do yaar wapas.
Actually, 2 phones should be allowed, 1 for you, 1 for your wife. Happened to, that's a true story. Now, I just pay 46,000 rupees duty for my wife phone.
All right.
Okay, okay.
Wow.
And
you had to, there was no
have
other
to do it.
choice, right?
She stays in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, she's not going back. So, you know, she need to use a phone.
So that's one problem.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, right, definitely. And we really hope we can do something about it, because even if we do buy, international brand phones over here, PTA approved has to be a thing. Of course, you
Yeah.
have to pay and wait for 4 months, the procedure, whatnot.
I mean, it's an extra
Or bu-
40,000 rupees for a PTA approved phone.
And if
I
you're a
mean,
person like me, you'll be ripped off more than
And
40,000 as well.
not only that, if you pass 60 days,
Okay.
if you pay within the 60 days, the duty is less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you pass the 60 days, I think 12 or 13,000 rupees is fine, which I pay the fine too.
Oh, okay, okay. That is, of course, inconvenient, and I hope it gets to the right authorities as well. But, gentlemen, since the last time you came here, you were, of course, here with a lot of good news. You were giving a voice, or rather a platform, to overseas Pakistanis. Along with that, you were fighting for a lot of people who were inconsiderately serving jail time over there, you know, coming back to Pakistan. Congratulations on that. But now you have the right to vote in Pakistani elections. How do you feel about that?
Chairman OPGF, please.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me. Overseas Pakistani feel very proud to the current government who give the voting right. But we have to set up the mechanism how to make the vote,
Okay.
to make the transparency of the voting rights, the voting cost, how to make the voting cost. So we have to see the further procedures, what's going on with that. But overseas Pakistani all over the world, they are feeling much better, and they feel like part of the country again. They was feeling left over, and this is we really appreciate as the overseas Pakistani.
Well, sir, and thank you very much for saying that. And I do believe that, you know, it's a great initiative, but sir, there is another mindset to it as
Right.
well. And you might have actually come across that as well. So, you know, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Attorney at Law as well, this is a question for all three of you. Now imagine, I mean, you are a very regular visitor to Pakistan, even you are, you know, so every 6 months, 7 months, we do a show together, and we want to make sure that the expat community do feel very inclusive about, you know, how they contribute towards Pakistan. The narrative over here, sir, I'm not saying that it's a majority that who have actually developed this narrative, but they say that for people who, for example, live in Canada or US or UK or, you know, in any other country, it's more than 1 million Pakistanis who live abroad in more than 140 countries, and those are those Pakistanis who are registered. So we have another million who went via donkey, or, you know, there are other procedures as well. Sorry to say that. But sir, how do you think that, you know, for somebody who does not really know the problem within Thatta or within Badin or Sindh or interior Punjab, how do you think that they will be voting from there, sitting in US and making sure that the problems will be solved at the grassroots level? Do you think that will occur? I'll start with you, Shrazvi.
Well, you know, one thing, you know, which is very appreciated, you know, after 72 years,
Yeah.
finally we are, you know, we are says now we are Pakistani, because that's one of right. You
But
know,
didn't you choose to be half not Pakistani? No one forced the second nationality onto you. I'm only clearing the sentiment here, please.
Yes.
yeah. I mean, you know, see, in 47 we were the two nations were separated, and after 26 years the constitution was made. 73. That's one of the, you know, the things which is very important. And after 72 years, we got the, you know, opportunity to select or elect our, you know, the rule of law.
Right.
You know, because the system is, you know, made by the, you know, through the vote. You know, I mean, it's a democracy. So you know, coming to your point, particularly the mechanism, that's what will be the challenge for Pakistan as well. You know, how we you know, bring our vote and how we cast our votes. That will be the challenge. But you know, this is gradually things are, you know, moving on. You know, it's the first step.
So do you believe that, you know, this is the first step which has been taken in the right direction?
Absolutely.
All right. Wonderful. Mr. Chairman, what's your take on this?
Your question was how the people living in US to know what's going on with Badin and Thatta, stuff like
And
that.
sir, we do have a majority of people who haven't come down to Pakistan in a decade or in 2 decades time. They couldn't afford to come back.
My take is the most overseas Pakistani are more concerned, they are more watching the news, they're spending more time to understand the Pakistani politics, they are more concerned, they are more loyal Pakistani than anybody else living in the country.
No, that's not what we are saying.
And then they are contributing the country. We are almost like 10 million. So we are feeding like a 25% of the population of Pakistan. Each overseas Pakistani feeding 5 to 10 people in the family. So if we are in 1 crore and we're feeding 5 to 10 people, so how many people we are feeding it?
Yeah,
So
5
we know the country situation very well. We watch closely and we feel very much concerned about the country. So I think we have a pretty much knowledge than living in the people in the Pakistan. Same like I said, we are the people. We are the 1,000 people together send $1 million US in Pakistan, and the one bureaucrat, one politics take same money back to the country, back again to USA and Canada or over there. So we watching everything, we know every single thing, and our dollar, you guys accept our dollars, but please accept our as your brother, as your part of your family, as a part of this land.
We do, sir. And sir,
yeah.
since we are over here, so it's our sole responsibility to kind of ask whatever the people want us to ask as well. And, it was a narrative. That's why I said. So it's not that it actually was a person question. And I believe that, that everybody should have the voting right, whether they are in Pakistan or not, because everybody wants to contribute towards a prosperous Pakistan. There's not going to be any agenda. But do you think that there can be inclination towards a few political parties of the overseas Pakistanis because they have worked for a longer period of time to make sure that they have a good place in their hearts? Mr.
You
President.
know what, like the way chairman say that since I'm in Pakistan, I'm not watching the news. When I'm in New York, I never sleep without
the
watching what's
news.
going on in Pakistan.
True.
And that is true.
True.
Not me, every Pakistani. We are always concerned what's going on back home.
Yeah.
And the voting rights giving, that's such a wonderful idea.
Alhamdulillah.
And overseas, sitting there, they know who's a really right person for the country because they have the vision, they have the knowledge. And that's going to be very clear because probably they're going to use their telephone, their system to vote. So there's going to be no compromise. If you're voting for one person, one party, you're going for the right person.
All right, man, that's wonderful.
That is brilliant. Now, we have spoken about it before as well. I think this will definitely give a newer direction or open a newer dimension
Absolutely.
for a lot of people. Because in my personal opinion, when we're talking about a democracy and when we're talking about a population that is, I don't want to use the word illiterate, but let's say uneducated or haven't had the opportunity to receive that kind of education to be informed, if they have the right to vote and make a system for the country, I really want educated people to have the right to vote as well. And not necessarily all overseas Pakistanis will be educated, but I'm talking about people who will be making an informed decision. Because Shahzad, even for the people living in Pakistan with the NICOP few years back couldn't vote, and it was so frustrating. So fingers crossed, I'm really looking forward to this. A lot of other countries are doing this too. But even, let's talk about the procedure now, because you even said how we're looking at how we have to make it
Mechanism.
possible. Mechanism, yes. EVMs, that is where the question mark is.
So do we still have to go to the embassy to vote, or do you think that EVMs will be placed somewhere and that
No, I don't think even you need to do that because let's say
maybe we should do it online?
Because every Pakistanis can register their phone number and you vote from your cell phone and the IP address and everything is legit. And that should be done in you don't even need a machine here.
Okay.
You could use your cell phone and it's registered with Nadra with your name, and you use from your home and you vote whoever you want to vote.
And I second that, and it's because of the fact that every year, because it's been twice that I've voted, and every time I have to go to my halka to get myself registered and then put up.
You don't have to.
On top of
I
it.
mean, that's not need
That's
for
why
that.
people don't vote.
I am registered.
Yes.
My name is registered. I have a CNSC. So now I use my cell phone and that's it.
That's why people don't vote. You don't have a time to go line and this and that. You wake up in your bed and whoever you want to vote, and your vote is registered, your IP address, your telephone, your number.
Exactly.
And you have the Nadra database.
But
Use
I think that the problem can be that if, God forbid, everybody takes a screenshot and the results somehow come the other way around.
No, that's another thing.
Like,
That's another thing.
screenshot किसी और के आ रहा है, जीत कोई और के।
कीमे वाला नान भी खिलाना बच्चे का।
Well, the thing is, don't be afraid with the new technology. Let's have experience with that one.
Why not?
And the overseas Pakistani will not give the vote कीमे वाला नान और बिरयानी की प्लेट पे वो वोट नहीं देगा. तो it's gonna
I
be
think
big
that's
change.
wonderful, and thank you very much, sir, for developing this narrative amongst us as well, because this is something which we even think and we are thinking likewise. Great people do think likewise as well. But now, very quickly, I think we should come down to where people are facing more challenges, in particular talking about the expat community. So we'll start with you because you happen to be attorney at law as well. A lot of people have a lot of pending cases over here within the courts as well, where they had properties and somebody else has hijacked them already. Do you think that the government's coming down to a point where the solution will be in near future?
Well, that's the point. We always bringing the voices of the overseas diaspora. The mechanism is same. I mean, the law is the same. There needs to be the amendment in the constitution. I mean, we did the Constitution 1973, and the same procedure for the citizen of Pakistan and for the overseas.
Alright.
If my property is rented out and is kabza, so again I go to the procedure of the courts. It takes 6 months. So how the 6 months the overseas stay
You're gonna
here,
come here
and follow the court procedure. That needs to be legislation. The rightly said, the democracy need to be prioritize these, particularly the such things, property in the inheritance. I mean, the inheritance for the overseas is a star.
hassle.
Exactly. And sir, just a few days ago, there was this good news which came to us, and one of our friend, he was actually fighting a case which his father initiated, and after 32 long years, he's got the house back as well. So at least they've got the house back. But for people who are actually the flag bearers of the court of law as well, I think they really need to focus on the functionality of it and how to incorporate technology into it as well.
Yes.
May it be an expat, may it be you sitting somewhere in USA and you want to sort it out. I think that the court can even take you online as well. May it be via Zoom or Skype, and they can record your statements rather than bringing you over here in person.
Absolutely.
I think we need to make these changes.
I mean, there are procedure for speedy. They have the separate courts for the overseas, but again, the procedure is the same. There will be the notice issues to the party, and the first notice, then second notice, and third notice. It takes 3 months.
Yeah.
And again, the system is the same. You pay the clerical staff. The dates are changed.
Exactly.
And giving them 2 months time again for a hearing.
Yeah.
So that needs to be
I think Chairman Sahab wants to say something.
This is not the things is only with the court.
True.
What we need to teach to our society, the people who feeding you, don't bite them hand.
True.
That's the reason. This is not only the court. We can put all pressure to the government. As a society, we should know what we're doing it. And as a society, we know this is overseas Pakistani, and we should not grab his land or his house or stuff like that.
True.
So as a society, you, me, and everybody, we have to teach them.
I think, sir, what we really need to teach them is that it does not really make a difference whether you live in Pakistan or abroad. I think everybody shares the
Act humane.
same law, and everybody needs to be respected the same way.
See, these overseas Pakistani has a lot of contribution with everywhere.
That's true, but
Okay,
sir, people who
if
live
you
in Pakistan
see-
have the same contribution
If you
as well.
see
no?
in the Kashmir cause, you see all overseas Pakistani, when the Kashmir Day come, all overseas Pakistani get out from the house, make agitation, go in front of the UNO and embassies or stuff like that. And the last time I see our chairman of Kashmir committee was there in the USA, and he did wonderful job over there, meeting the corner meeting with the Kashmiri diaspora and all
he's
other
bringing the
stakeholders. UNGA and plus that's the first time overseas Pakistani saw the Kashmir committee chairman in physically in appearance in overseas. So we if we work over here as a Kashmir cause, we got shabash. But wahan jab hum kaam karte hain, when we work there, we have a hard time.
Sir, you have our shabash, sir, and I bear witness to that alhamdulillah I have seen Mr. Shahryar Khan Afridi sir working day in, day out, because I was a part of the Kashmir Premier League. I was their sports broadcast journalist as well. And not even a single day that Shahryar Afridi sir would actually come to us and be like, "Kuch madad chahiye, mera daftar khula hua, you can walk in any time."
He's very
And no matter whatever the problem was, he was always making sure that, that it got sorted and resolved as well. So, sir, towards the end, very quickly, any other grievances our expat community shared with you as the president OPGF has, please put it out.
Sir,
there.
actually, we need a one window operation. Lot of investment can come to Pakistan. We are in 22 countries right now under one umbrella, under one chairman.
Alhamdulillah.
And we can bring a lot of investment into Pakistan. We can grouping, we can chip the money, we can pool the money. But we need a one window operation where the government give us a surety. Nobody gonna take your land away. And we doesn't have to spend 6 months to get all the permissions.
True.
If we're bringing a money, we need everything done within 2 to 3 weeks. It should be every department sitting in a one place, have everything quickly done. Trust me, we can bring a lot of money to Pakistan.
And the process needs to be smooth. But, since you are here, I don't know whether you're aware of it or not, but I really, truly want to appreciate the PTI government, because they have made sure that the technology which was used by the people worldwide, they have brought it over here as well. Imagine you can pay your tokens via an application, you can get your car registered, you can, any harassment case, anything. So the name of the application is Islamabad City. Just download it and you'll be able to do everything. And that too, even while you're in USA. So I think that, gradually we're coming over there.
Good.
And we always knew that this is the vision of the Premier Imran Khan Sahib as well. And alhamdulillah, he's done that. You can even book a ticket for metro station
Good.
as well.
We're in the right track.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're in the right track, inshallah. I think in days to
We're
come,
getting
we'll
there.
be there. Yeah.
We're getting there.
We're almost there.
Inshallah.
I mean, bringing to strengthen the chamber, particularly to how they grab the money from the overseas, because there is, there are volume of the IT business.
True.
There are volume in the in the large industries.
And technology zones are
And
coming up as well.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
So that needs to be, strengthen the chamber and bringing the voices of the, overseas.
Ah, that's wonderful. And, I think it was a great opportunity for me, to be very honest, to actually host the chairman, the president, and the attorney at law as well, person who's actually giving the advices as well. Shiza, do you want to say anything?
Right, of course, I'm really happy to, of course, be learning about all these newer things.
Because you happen to be expat, somewhere in the middle
Living
of the year.
in Pakistan, I'd like to say I'm a Pakistani Shahzad, so that's that. But definitely, I totally agree to all the grievances one might have staying away from the country, especially when they are contributing so much to not just the national exchequer or the economy of the country, but, feeding families and a lot of people for that matter as well. So we really hope and pray that these grievances get to the right ears and get solved out too. But in all honesty, I'm game for, EVM even for that matter, the right to vote. Because when we talk about a democracy, ladies and gentlemen, democracy does not differentiate or divide people coming from different strata.
Yeah.
It is same for everyone, it is open for everyone, and it is supposed to serve everyone equally. So fingers crossed for that as well.
Exactly. And Shiza, thank you very much for saying that, because for the better understanding of people, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that all of these people, gentlemen, women, what they've been doing is that they've been living in the oldest democracy. ठीक है? So imagine that they have been voting after every 4 years or 5 years as well. Don't you think that a person who knows who to vote, that too in US or UK or anywhere else as well, won't even know that, how to vote in Pakistan? Or who to vote for?
It's not that hard.
I think that's the answer for everybody out there, because they are living in the oldest democracy the world has ever seen. So I think we really need to trust them with that as well. So sir, the future of Pakistan is in your hands partially as well. Please make sure that you guys make the right decision. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to head back.
Of course, well, we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Take care and make sure to write all your feedback and suggestions to us on our social media pages with the name of...
Well, this morning.
Yes, and the repeat you will be able to catch at...
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.